So after the education page, the next spot that it's going to bring us is to ask about testing. So keep in mind when it comes to testing, it says here, in addition to sending official score reports as required by colleges, do you wish to self report scores? Now, this year is obviously a little bit of a different year in the fact that so many colleges are going test optional. But in this case, this is just asking if you would like to self report your scores. They do not consider them official unless they are coming from the college, which again, your counselor can help you with sending those official scores and making sure that what you need gets where it needs to go. But this is just an opportunity for you to self report. The other thing to keep in mind is that if a school is test optional, it's not an issue if these scores are shown here because as long as you've selected that you are choosing to go test optional, they will not look at those scores and take them into account. That's the whole point of them offering the test optional choice. So you'll see the first question here is, would you like to self report? If you say yes, it'll ask you for which tests you would like to report. I just put in some of the most common. So from the drop down, I clicked on ACT tests, SAT, and AP. And because I clicked on those three, you'll now see that underneath here, you have access to upload individually each score. So as I continue, the first option is going to be ACTs. I will just tell you to be prepared with your scores and your dates before you start putting this information in. So if you're at it, I'll ask you how many times you've taken the test. Did you take the writing? Do you plan on taking the test again in the future? And just based on all of those answers, it'll ask you for that information. So I had clicked yes, I'm planning on taking it one more time, and you would enter the time that you're planning on taking that, whichever date for the test is. It's then going to ask you for your highest scores, and it will specifically ask for the specific date that you took the test. So unfortunately, for the ACTs, it is going to ask for the actual date of the month as well. So just make sure that you have that information there. You'll see I left a lot of this blank, but if you do need help with any of this, feel free to reach out. It's going to ask for the composite score and each test breakdown for the ACT. I think more common, we have students doing the SAT. So as you'll see, once that loads up, that might look a little bit more familiar. I just said, yes, we've taken the SAT once. I decided not to take it with the essay. I am thinking of taking it again in the future. And so again, you'll see that it's going to ask us for those dates so that we can go from there. And of course, I put two dates, which is why it gives me the option to put two. And then it'll ask you for the individual section scores and what your date was for each of those tests. And then you can continue through. And for any of you who have taken AP tests or are planning to take AP tests, this is where you would have the opportunity to do that. If you're somebody who took tests in previous years, you'd be able to list those already. And if you are planning on taking any more moving forward, you'd be able to list that as well. And again, if it's a test that you just haven't taken the test yet, you'd be able to say obviously that hasn't been scored yet. Keep in mind whatever doesn't have the asterisk would be something that you can leave blank. So if it is a future test, you wouldn't have to fill that in. And actually, once we hit continue, that's everything for the testing section.